So I am Rising Phoenix Aurora. I am known as a spiritual revolutionist, a author. I am the author of Galactic Soul History of the Universe, and we have a new series that has just rolled out, which is called Beyond the Ice Walls of Antarctica and the Lost Cities of Tartaria, available under Amazon. You can check it out. I'm working on Barnes & Noble currently, so I would say hold up on that till I got that going, because it's a couple things I need to fix in there. But yeah, all Amazon books is ready. Such a glorious book. Basically assists you to realize that we are, well, the construct that we are currently in, really to assist you to step into your power and not allow to be thinking that you're a victim. So it talks about Earth's history, true Earth history, and some of the understanding of what the universe looks like and the multiverse. So check out that book. It is huge, you all. I mean, this book, there's probably not a number. I'd say currently, I mean, if I were to write all the chapters that we have available for this and ready to go, it would be at least at about 10 books of this series alone. So it's a series of its own. And then check out Galactic Soul History of the Universe and the Multiverse Final Battle, which is a series of its own. The two different series under Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Thank you for being here. This is such an important video, as I went to not only did I go to Ireland, you all, yep, I did go to the United Kingdom and Stonehenge and Glastonbury and so many other places, Wales as well. So I will be delivering a video coming up on that and the update to that. But before that, I knew that I needed to make this video the minute I came back, because of a lot of the illusionists and the infringements that are there within that space where the dark seed began of the artificial intelligence, the AI, the initial fall of Atlantis. So thank you for being here. I've been gone a couple of weeks, so excited to be here with you to find out more about me and all the information and all the sessions and courses that I offer. You go to my website, risingphoenixaurora.com. It is an honor. Everything that I do with Source of Light. So setting very clear intentions, in case you are new to us, that all the transmission, all the content that will be delivered today will be only embodied with Source of Love Light. How do you know that? You feel it in your heart. You feel it within the energy. It feels right. It feels, your body tells you that it feels right. So thank you for being here. This is not a usual video that you're going to hear, where you're going to hear people bashing fallen angels, calling them Nephilims, or inverting the sacred alchemy that has been taught since the beginning of Earth's creation. And even this sacred knowledge is coming from since the beginning of creation period, throughout the universe and multiverse. So it's not going to be your usual one, because I am not in the AI system, and I've deprogram from that false information that makes you become the pawns and the creators of the AI inverted matrix. So I'm here to clarify sacred knowledge, sacred wisdom. I'm here to clarify every as much as we can cover today. And I just squeezing in this video quickly because we have a remote viewing the North Pole. We're on part 6, which is so incredible. And 1 p.m. Central Time, you could go to aurapractitioners.com, which is my Rising Phoenix Mystery School, or Patreon, to sign up for that, for all the extra sensitive videos channeling Nikola Tesla, Abraham Lincoln, remote viewing North Pole, Grand Canyon, Area 51, goes on and on and on. Love to see you there in about an hour and 16 minutes. Thank you. And yes, right now I'm hosting my next online Aura hypnosis raw Reiki certification is in October 15, I believe. So I'd love to see you there. And I think my next one might be in, I'm sorry, September, and then in November. And then my current retreat, it's in the workings right now. So just keep an eye out for when our next retreat is going to be, as we already went to 3 retreats this year. We went to Hawaii. What's up? We went to California, Sequoia National Park, Yosemite Park, and we went to Ireland. So big retreats, and then stay tuned for what's coming next year, and how to get Aura and Ra certified in person. All right, let's get started, you all. It is it's so big, so big. Yeah, so as I am going to, let's sing a little song really quick. Before we get started, because all that I'm going to be speaking of is going to be an embodiment of love. Why? To break the system of what you've been tricked into. Some of the stuff that I saw, you definitely want to keep watching, you all. some of the stuff I saw, especially in the UK, and some of these like kind of like supposed spiritual gurus and so on, was pretty dark. So I'll share some of that and some of the illusionists and the ways that they trick you and con you into creating the AI matrix, okay? But let's start off with a song. Sing with me, dance with me, what's up? And the song is by Carla Morrison, which I love. This song is so beautiful because it has really truly inspired me in times that I need to go in my heart and then remember that everything is for love. So the intent for today's video, with your own, you do it. I'm just here to deliver the messages and love light, but it's for you to step into your power, remove yourself from any victimhood of any false information about the sacred alchemy and knowledge that is created by Divine Mother. And removal of the AI matrix that people try to put you in when you start, allowing for this false information about fallen angels and, flowers of life and the Kabbalahs and all the sacred knowledge that the AI stole from us and then inverted it. So I'm going to be explaining to you not just the spiritual, the energetics, but also the science and the physicality to the human anatomy. So make sure you keep watching, you're going to be wowed by this. But let's go ahead and sing. Let's go. Ready? Are you gonna play? Oh, hold on. Sign me out 1 second. So we usually begin with a song, and this is today's song just to remind us of who we are. And yeah, it's not playing on there, so I'm gonna play it on my phone. 1 second. So write your questions on anything that you see on as far as today's topic, and we'll go ahead and get those started for you all. Okay, so we have Gina in chat, watching over chat, so you guys can write your questions there. She'll make sure she'll get them over to me. And here we go.
Deep down inside me, a light was born, and every heartbeat, it felt so strong. Through all of the darkness, kept shining on, kept shining on. All of this love inside me grew. My deep devotion, it followed you. Hope was my shelter, it saw me through. It saw me through. And I imagine to see you smile, bringing you happiness, helping you fly. That you could trust me in finding your way. That life itself wasn't always this great. Show you the heavens while you soar so high. That you could touch all the stars shining bright. That I could keep all the fear out of reach. That I will always be near. Count on me. That everything was for love.
Sing it to your younger self and your twin flame's younger self.
Life you can see today. I'll follow another too far away. Remember how much I loved you this way. Loved you this way. Your life was the channel deep in my will. Looking for the chance, climbing on this hill. Your eyes shining through me, now you can fly. And I imagine to see you smile, bringing you happiness, helping you fly. That you could trust me in finding your way. That life itself wasn't always this great. Show you the heavens while you soar so high. That you could touch all the stars shining bright. That I could keep all the fear out of reach. That I will always be near. Count on me. Everything was for love. And I want to see you fall and break in the end.
And I want to stop it there where it says When fear and doubt want to see you fall and break, in the end, think of the sun, for it always shines again. Always. All right, thanks for allowing that. I know the song. In hosting the retreats, we sang and danced a lot. The puppies will be quiet in a second. So we danced and sang a lot, and that was a big song. Make sure you go follow me on my social medias, because whenever we couldn't be in our hearts, that's one of the songs that reminded us. But then also so many other songs that we sang. So thank you. All right, I am infinitely empowered to do this video, and with that I want to say that keep your entities to yourself. I don't consent. If you're a hater, you're a troll, keep it, don't even bother, as it'll be yours to transmute. I am speaking all the messages within divinity of love, so, and the benevolence. So here we go. All right, so I prepared a presentation for you all so that you could understand. One of the videos actually that popped up right before I was going to go to United Kingdom, got in there in the United Kingdom, and then Ireland and Wales, was of a male who claimed that basically was speaking intently of angels, of different archangels, specifically Archangel Metatron, saying that these angels are an AI system. Now, first and foremost, I am a mother. I am a mother, and I am not only a mother to my own children, but I am whenever in the presence of children and the humanity, I really kind of send love to the collective, and especially the children. And the reason why I am not indoctrinated by that AI system that the minute you wake up, which is basically has targeted you just to invert you deeper into the minute you wake up, then there's more traps that are waiting to densify you. So this tell you right now is that as a being, as a human being, celestial being incarnated into this human body, I've seen too many miracles to not believe in angels. I've seen children be saved from very dangerous situations. And this is what's happening here, is the fact that we're so compromised by the Archon, which is the real devil, the AI, which is actually in book 2. I have a whole book about this AI system here. Book 2 talks to you about this Archon and this dark entity that's not love, that is what's compromising the minds of people, really, because when you start working within its inverted matrix, that's what's happening, is that you're not in your heart. If you were in your heart, then you'd be able to feel very quickly in your heart that whatever this false information, how ill and trickster and illusionary it is, to control you, to power up the AI matrix, just like the Matrix movie. So that's what we're here today, most importantly, to clear up some of the sacred knowledge. Now, if you read book 1, you remember that in book 1, 700 something pages, we remembered the true history of our universe, and through people's memories and some of my channel information, but this one, book 1, is all about their history and their memories that I recorded for them as the interviewer and holding the space of love so that they could recall some of the densest information. And as we went through all this history, biggest thing, you all, that would happen in all these different planets, dimensions, and including this earth and all other earths, is that they targeted the benevolence. And when they targeted the benevolence, the number one thing is that they were after the knowledge, the alchemy. And that's what this video is about, for us to clear up the truth of the sacred alchemy that is very much being invertedly used. Okay. All right, thank you. So let's start it off. Let's start off with something simple, because one of the things that I've seen, again, people talking about is the sacred alchemy that exists within our human anatomy and how it's inverted. Now, the first thing I want to say is, since I'm not programmed by this AI system who claims that these people know what they're talking about and they could even call it the truth, but what I could tell you is that you are a being created from love. You are a being created from source of light, a being created from divine mother and father. And the ways that they created you, no one can invert that. So the way that your human anatomy creates, like a Vesica Picsis, which I'll show you in a minute, circles multiplying like the flower of life, that is created by divinity and organic. Now, what, again, through the books and people's histories and memories, what we've seen is that they take that and they invert it. They try to seed it with dark seeds so that it could then spread into a virus. And then if you align to this and you listen to this and you agree with it, you become part of the AI system. You become a part of creating that false artificial womb. And it's an artificial womb. It's just like like the video I've made, and we'll add all the links later, of artificial wombs, how they're making clones in artificial wombs. You're being part of that. So again, this is going to be a video that you don't usually hear. All right, so let me start off with something simple, and then we'll go into the supposed fallen angels. Okay, so let's just look at human anatomy. Okay, now you are created, so it has divine mother and father. So the two circles here, which is called the Vesica Picsis, represents divine mother and father. Now this is all found in your human anatomy. I'll show you videos about it. So one circle represents divine mother, one circle represents divine father. Now when you're looking at an embryo and a baby, for you to say that the Vesica Picsis is negative, you are actually in many forms damning or creating dark curses and feeding dark curses to really collectively attack the children, because you as a child, you were a child, weren't you? You were born as an embryo, as a baby, when the sperm and the cell unified. And look at what happened to you. You become a two-cell organism. So for you to attack and to say that this is a negative alchemy symbol, a negative symbol that creates life, is very, very bad. It's not good. I wouldn't, if I were you, I would not align to this the minute when you wake up. So if you're finding this information, because what happens is that dark energy, everything is energy, everything's a quantum physics. So what if you're sending the energy to this dark, that is dark, that two cells that split into 4 cells, 8 cells, 16 cells, and then creates a blastoid that creates a beautiful baby, a baby like you, a baby like you've had, maybe a baby that is to come for you. Do you understand? So this is how you keep inverting. And then the whole thing about the Anunnaki. Now the Anunnaki, most of them did go dark because they were virused, but not all of them were. It's like saying, all whites are negative, all blacks are negative, all Hispanics are negative, and that's not something we align with, correct? So you call them the Anunnaki, but basically they're the beginning cedar races. Now what I can tell you is that these cedar races, they didn't have the power to create you and to make you duplicate from a Vesica Picsis 2 cells. They didn't have that power. And they might have tried to infringe on the DNA, which is true. Absolutely. They did infringe on the DNA by just like what we saw right now, the COVID vaccine and the jab, the way they integrated AI. That is how they've altered the DNA. But the original cell, you cannot alter what is organic unless you become a hybrid, a human hybrid. Okay, are you understanding everything? So let me help you explain how a bit of quantum physics, and this is actually in the new book that just came out, The Lost Cities of Tartaria. So let's talk about like something as simple as Albert Einstein, because I do channel him and we talk about the sacred knowledge that he delivered over to us. Now, let's talk about something like E equals MC squared. Okay, so I want you to understand what is energy. So let's talk about energy at its core, at the matter of it, before it's even created into specific energy. So at our Rising Phoenix Mystery School, we teach about quantum physics and alchemy. So I'm going to read just a written form here of E equals MC squared. So as Albert Einstein's theory of the speed of light, E equals MC squared. So let's go ahead and break that down. Okay, so E equals MC squared. So the E in EM equals MC squared is energy. E is the energy. M is the mass. mass of the energy, basically its density, how what it's vibrating to, oscillating to, how much mass is within, say just when I was showing you the blastoids of the cell. Then there's C, which is the speed of light. Again, I repeat, E equals energy, the M equals the mass, and the C is the speed of light, which then equates to square, which is basically a square footage. And this is how simple it is, you all. So this is how important it is that you are cautious and aware of your energy and what not to create and create. So which translate into formulating the square footage of a being matter you are measuring. You understand? So energy equals mass, speed of light times speed of light. Speed of light, it basically depends on how much light you have within you, what you're vibrating to, how much you are oscillating your energy, which is a vibrational. An oscillation is a combination of frequency and vibration, and combined to oscillate at what decimals you're oscillating your body, vibrating your body to. So E equals MC squared is as if you would measure how much square footage in tiles you need to floor a bathroom. But it wouldn't just be the dimensions of the total tile. We would also need the total depth and weight to equate the mass of the total tiles, making up the equation transference of E equals MC squared. Do you understand? So for the tiles to be accurately floored, perhaps this is where the handyman we hire goes wrong in completing the job correctly. LOL, they are missing the formula of E equals MC squared. So just so you could understand, okay, so now that we understand how everything is energy, everything is matter, you could review other videos that I've made, like you know, how to heal the vaccine, and basically how to heal any kind of illness and how to quantumly vibrate to that. You could also watch Orbiting to Higher Timelines. So we'll add those videos where I talk more of quantum physics. Okay, so back to this presentation here. All right, so here's proof, if you don't believe me, that the cells of a baby you were created, and your baby that you are carrying or have carried and are raising create from a Vesica Picsis. Here you're going to see light. So it's beautiful to see basically how a sperm enters the cell and then creates an embryo. The minute the sperm enters the cell, life equals light. Thank you to that person who made this video. Okay, see that? Repeat it. Okay, so then what happens from there is that the egg is now starting to cultivate. And the minute it cultivates, the only way that it could duplicate and become an embryo, a baby, is that it has to create into two cells, which is a Vesica Picsis again. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so again, you cannot invert the Vesica Picsis, nor can you believe people. Well, I wouldn't recommend you do, because again, you're in the AI system at that point. And they might even be talking about how it's AI systems, the Vesica Picsis. Don't believe that, because then it's feeding that dark energy into who you are and your loved ones and the human collective, children collective. So watch this. So look at how beautiful. So this is a DNA, once it's splitting, and then it has to create, see that? How it creates into 2-cell organism again. And from there, it turns into a 4-cell, into an 8-cell, into a 16-cell, just like the image I showed you, understand? And even then, and this looks like a female, yeah, because it looks like a Y, see the Y, X chromosome. So this is a female cell. See how it's duplicating? Okay. All right. So something that you're finding too when you're watching false information as this, that a Vesica Picsis or a 2-cell, is that you're also disconnecting yourself. The minute that you believe the Vesica Picsis is inverted, you're also disconnecting yourself from Divine Mother and Father, like all the sacred teachings that have been deleted. And really that's the way that they've deleted them from our history, and especially Divine Mother of creation, because she is the womb, and she is who created you and all beings within her womb. Even Divine Father was created from her womb, you know, not the opposite you might have heard. So you were understanding? Yeah, how am I doing? Let me know how I'm doing. Okay, So the next thing that once I showed you how the cells duplicate is understanding some of what I spoke of. Let's just look at the simple human anatomy of the nucleus, which is within an atom. Every single being who is alive, whether you are a lower density kind of being, like a two-dimensional or one-dimensional being, maybe like a chair, basically like a chair is a one-dimensional, being, not really a being, but it's, in order to be, it has to have matter within it. But you are you're the celestial being, but really in a third dimensional physicality, matter. And this matter, the way that it grows, it begins from nucleus, which again, you're seeing multiple Vesica Picsis that have split to create the atom. So to believe the Vesica Picsis again is bad, then you're really compromising your cells. You're compromising your nucleus, because this is what makes you up. You understand? Okay, so I'm gonna come in with you with facts, combine. So let's talk about some of the information that we actually recently discovered is that when you so this could also be the beginning of cancer. When you are dark seeding this into your cells, your own cells. So we've discovered through the Rising Phoenix Mystery School that actually cancer is a parasite. Cancer is a parasite that attaches to your cell. And this is just kind of facts. So what happens is that your cell becomes virus, doesn't it? So the cancerous cell is a virus, but what happened to it? How did it become virus? And it turns out that there are entities within your plasma. They're tiny little parasites that have been, and they are AI, nano. So we know about chemtrails and pesticides, all this stuff that they feed into you to invert your cells. Now, eventually, if you have too much lower of a density, and especially like if you're being hateful towards yourself, hatred is a strong way that the cells will turn against each other. Or if you're being hateful towards others, yourself or others, is that the cells start vibrating and becoming a vibratory match to the intake of sugar. Sugar, when it looked at it quantumly, it becomes a blob, and it is the food source. This is factually. When you get cancer, your doctor tells you stop eating sugar because the sugar does feed the cancerous cells. And so all these kind of combination of chemicals and also sugars, once they go into your system, they attach to your cells and they become a parasite blob, and that's the way it actually looks. Sugar, when it attaches to your cell, and then it basically it is the virus, and then turns your cell against each other. And then what happens to the cells? The cells, they start attacking each other and eating on each other. Really, they start killing each other off. And this is so. The truth is that cancer is an entity inside, and it's called plasmoids. You could look it up, plasmoids, plastoids. I can look it up here for you. We've been talking about this again in Rising Phoenix Mystery School. And here it is. Here's just like a simple Google search you could look into. Plasmoids are self-contained coherent structures of plasma and magnetic fields. They are observed in various natural phenomena like ball lightning and solar flares, and also in laboratory experiments. The term plasmoid was coined to describe these plasma magnetic entities. This is key right here, because remember, they got to tell you the truth so that you consent to the truth. And then so that you could allow inversions, which we don't allow, right? Over my 900 plus videos, been teaching you that over and over. So you understand? So this is really laboratory experiments where they're identifying, they're compromising, infringing on the plasma. Now, plasma is all within your body. I mean, even down to your boogers, it's plasma. The water within you is plasma. So some of the strongest plasma within you would be the stem cells, and why they want your stem cells in your back. So if you infringe upon the plasma within you, and something as they do simply in negative music, there are negative agendas through some different artists that they have you listen to, even dark towers and technologies like the 5G is constantly emitting a dark frequency into your plasma that then is And then all your plasma, both your white and your red blood cells, are within this plasma floating in this water, just like, say, fish float in water in the sea. You are a sea, you are your own sea. And so then down to your plasma needs to be healed. Do you understand? So that is where the key, and I can tell you, you know, every single client that has made it to, who has had an aura session with me, has healed themselves from cancer. Even if they were at the last stage of cancer, they still healed themselves and survived. So, okay, you understand? All right, tell me how I'm doing. All right, so, right, make sure you hit like right now and subscribe. Okay, so that's big, you all. Now we do know what cancer is, so thank you to the practitioners who are discovering and assisting to discover all of this. All right, so I don't see any questions so far to be answered, so let me continue my presentation to help you understand, so that you cannot consent to anyone who is telling you that the sacred alchemy that you are made from, that Divine Mother Father created you from, is false. All right, so let's move on to the next one here. Let's talk about the real flower of life. Now, the real flower of life is the sixth dimensional flower right here. Now, you've seen it being used invertedly, and you've even heard some people talk about how it was dark. Now, let's explain this really quick. Okay, so what dimension were we in before we descended down into the third dimension? Currently we were in the fifth dimension. We were crystalline, weren't we? We then descended down into the fourth dimension, which started really transitioning us into the third dimension. You descended down. Now, many of souls were here, and whether they were agreeing or not agreeing, the collective basically descended down. As we descended down, and souls from the star, from beyond the stars, who also volunteer to be here and descend into the third dimension, have, you could say, in a sense, fallen down. And let's just talk about it as a human anatomy, as science. So what happens when you come into a third dimensional physical carbon-based construct as the earth is that you do have to densify. In order for you to densify, you have to lose so much of you. You do fall. And this is where the term the fallen angel comes in, fallen angels. And then we'll talk about angels and who they are in a minute. But technically, for you to call a fallen angel a fallen angel, you are also calling yourself a fallen angel, because technically you fell. You fell from a fifth dimensional into a third dimensional. Like always, you all, I'm here to tell you the truth. And so let's stop using that term of fallen angels, even though I had to title it to help you understand this, because there are no fallen angels. You are not a fallen angel. Your child who you birth is not a fallen angel. We made a choice. We made a choice to come save. If we're a volunteer from, say, the 8th dimension and we came down, we made a choice to densify and digress ourselves to become a matching vibration to the 3rd dimension. Maybe you were a soul who was here when the fall happened and Atlantis happened. And maybe you were one of those souls that allowed and were actually part of the issue, I guess, and you were part of the virus. But it's time for you to remove and veil yourself from this, because that is how we ended up in the 3rd dimension, all this like trickster information. And that's what I saw over and over. I even went to Stonehenge, you all. It's epic. Okay. And everywhere I went, there was dark gurus and spiritual people like infringing on one another. I'll tell you those stories towards the end of the video. So all right, so you are oscillating in a 6th dimensional. You were in a 5th dimension, right? And we were about to ascend out into a 6th dimension. We were one step away. Everything had the 6th dimension in it. Down to the trees, the animal life. They all had the 6th dimensional blueprint inside, because we were that close. So the way that we evolve, we also devolve to ensure that the earth was existing and would not completely, say, self-destruct. So because of the collective and choice, we descended down to the 3rd dimension. You understand? So then your anatomy needed to shift and change within it. So the 6th dimensional flower that I just showed you is the actual blueprint of the sixth dimension, the fifth dimension we were in, and we were going to activate into the sixth dimension. Now back to this image. Now what's happening is that the Archon and the Illuminati here, they've taken the sixth dimensional, say, simple flower of life, and then you go up to the 12 petal flower of life that goes on and on. See how it's non-restrictive, and technically this flower could go on and on, circling over and over and over. Okay, now see here how they've taken this sixth dimensional flower and they made it into this. Now you're going to find it in, you know, maybe in people's classes and maybe spiritual items that you can buy. But I can tell you right now that this is the way that they took a sacred alchemy symbol as the flower of life, that the multiverse and universes are within each one of these circle, but truly sphere is a universe, a petal, two different energies and on. So this is the way that the Illuminati has contained us in here. See how these are free flowing? This one is not. This one's stuck. And Gina, I think you had sent me an image of the flower where it goes on and on and on. Send me that image again and text it to me so I can share it. And most people who are part of the Kabbalah and Illuminati, and they use this, and it's called like the flower of death, or the lily of flower of death, or something like that, but which I don't align with. So but I wanted to show you here, this is one of the topics we were talking about, Rising Phoenix Mystery School, how compromised and restricted this one feels. So this is a inverted matrix. And this symbol is keeping you from ascending from a fifth dimension into the sixth dimension that we were originally going to enter. It's keeping you stuck, constricted, does not let the flower expand. When you're using flowers of life, they must always be expansive. You understand? So I'm looking at, see if you guys have any questions so far. Looks like we're good on questions. So excited to be back. So honored to be here with you all. Okay, so let me see what else here. Okay, so we'll wait for Gina to send the one, just like a simple search on the web shows the flower expansive, but that's a good one. So let's continue seeing. So here is that we come into a chrysalis form. Call it the matrix just because you're in the third dimension, and most souls are stuck here because they're not a matching vibration to ascension. What does that mean? Is that it means that through science, you must be a vibratory match to ascend into the sixth dimension technically. And in order to do that is you need to look into your past life memories and find out what's holding you heavy and dense, that's not letting you crystallize out like a butterfly. Our whole journey on earth is you are a caterpillar, you could say, in a chrysalis, crystallizing and then morphing out into a sixth dimensional state where you receive your butterfly wings. Okay, and then there's a toroidal, which is basically helps all the souls be within these chrysalis forms on earth. And then, but what's happening is that you have these entities attached, implants, hooks, and all these densities, and you have entities even hovering over you that are keeping you in your mind in foggy to understand, which then keeps you in this inverted matrix. The biggest thing is that you are who is creating this artificial intelligence by what's a vibratory match inside of you. So say you have entities attached, you could be vibrating as low as a reptilian virus, a reptilian attachment, a earthbound entity, a mantis being, a gray being that's attached to you, then you are vibrating to them. And this is why you're stuck, and no matter how hard you try to vibrate out, you can't, because they're integrated into you. In some form, you are a hybrid if you have these attachments. You understand? So this is where we recommend entity removal or a hypnosis, as always, and raw Reiki removal. This is why our retreats and our workshops are so profound, because we teach you how to remove yourself from the inverted matrix and vibrate your cells, your body, all that you are to love, which everyone forgets about mentioning love or being love. Yeah. Yeah, someone said when you look at the cone of a coneflower or even a sunflower, you can clearly see the divine mother flower of life. Exactly. Yeah, we teach this in our teachings, we teach this in, I think it's the Buddha course. Yeah. The Buddha course, which you can find all these classes under my website, risingphoenixaurora.com. Exactly. It is found. And the truth is actually found that that flower that's inside the sunflower is also found in your DNA and your double helix. It's quite incredible. I teach that in the Archangel Raphael DNA. Okay. All right. So let's go into angels. Okay. Again, I don't know how many miracles need to happen in front of you for you to believe that angels exist. Okay. Um, I've now I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I am so lovingly blessed because I get to hear people's stories over and over every day, right? Like, okay, people say like I got in a car accident. The car was demolished. And then they say, but all I remember like this golden light and I was protected and neither myself or my family were harmed. But looking at this car, we should have been hurt in some form, but we weren't. So that's another way that we can explain that. I mean, the stories go on, and you know, I have again the books that you could read about people being saved by angels. But everyone has an angel. The truth is that when your loved one passes on, they become your guardian angel. Now you've been told that, for example, that you know there's no life. You know, you only live once and so on. That there's no life after death, which is such a sad understanding to believe that because there's life, infinite life beyond. It doesn't end here. So, but again, all this false information, and then going into angels. So basically the way it works is that Divine Mother and Father, which is Divine Mother Sophia and Crystal, are the names, but I mean just call them Love Light or Source Love Light. But they celled like the Vesica Picsis, then multiplied, and then they created the Holy Trinity, which is like the triqueta, like there's a triqueta found in Ireland, which that represents mother, father, and child and their creation. The it's a seed and three seeds, the shape of a seed like this, which is the image, three of them, right? And this is the image that is the shape of every seed. Even a womb has a shape like this, or the sacred, vagina, how the interaction through sacred sex and how it creates a baby. So this sacred seed is the beginning of creation, Divine Mother, Father, and the child. Okay, and once this triqueta multiplies, then it creates life, and then the child. So the child is you, me, and all the children of creation. Okay, so then from there, then there's Divine Mother and Father who created from sun. Now the beginning creation is the phoenix, the daughter, that then creates stars. So the very star beings are the very first beings that ascended out from the stars. The very first stars was the archangels. So the archangels are not an alien race. They're not even galactic race. They're just source. They're source. And that's why you look at any ancient literature, you find the angels and how they were the first beings and how they're benevolent. And you're going to hear and read different information that has been falsified, like the Bible, even like the book of Enoch has been falsified as well, and different literature. Okay, so the angels are source of light, the very first creation. Then the angels are the creators, the seraphim, where all life was created from. Now you could call them the angels, but they're basically the collective of energies, a collective of council that birthed out creation and began to create the stars, the creators, these beings. Okay, now I have a video on, if you want to learn more about the archon and the AI, or read book 2, Galactic History of the Multiverse to find a battle, or watch that video, which we'll add, which is the Archon. What happened was that there was a god that went negative, and the only thing that could counter and protect the people and beings from this inverted god that became initially the artificial intelligence, when it separated its light from itself, becoming integrated with this type of nothingness, is the only thing that could counter this Archon is the angels. The only thing that could go against an Archon and eradicate it, stop it, are the angels, the archangels specifically. And so that is why you've been tricked into fallen angels, into believing angels are bad, even though you've seen miracle after miracle. Those miracles are telling you are happening by angels. So they are constantly saving you and your loved ones. So it's because you've been programmed to believe of this falseness. Now with that is that they can't, because they're benevolent, they can't assist you. The angels cannot assist you because you believe that they're fallen. But again, we all needed to go into a lower density to come into this earth. Now they are existing one with source. So it's then going even deeper into it. If you believe archangels and angels are fallen and bad, then you're also believing source is bad. And then you are oscillating, and you are then creating your reality, where you are then a matching vibration to the AI matrix, the artificial wombs. You understand? The simulation that keeps you trapped and locked into this existence. And it doesn't let you be an ascended master, ascend out into a higher vibratory love frequency, like Yeshua and Buddha and all these beings who ascended out, because you're believing the falseness. Understand? Okay, you can see me and hear me good. Okay. I don't know what my message is. Confirm you can see me, hear me. My screen is frozen, but it might just be frozen on my end. Let me know you can hear me and see me. Okay. Nothing's moving. Confirm you can hear me and see me before I speak more. You can see me, hear me. Okay. All right, well, that's good. Okay, so I think Gina found that image I was asking for. Everything's good on your end. All right, well, that's good. Okay. Oh, that one, that image. Oh, okay, yeah, that works. I have that image actually. So I can show you that image now of the flower of life that is infinite. Okay, let me pull it up here. Okay, now I've referenced this video in the past, but just so you can see how creation is boundless, and even a simple equation like pi, which is 3.14, which is really 8 infinity. Look at how this infinite flower of life. Now, this is what a flower of life looks like. You understand? So whether it's 6 petal, whether it's 8 petal, whether it's 12 petal, whether it's 16 petal, the different petals represent the different dimensions that you're connecting to. Okay. And this is again the universe, really multiverse you're seeing within each petal. So it should never be binded like the one that I showed you that the Illuminati uses. Okay, so what's really incredible is when you're seeing the little seeds, you've seen the seeds, you're seeing circles, you're seeing spheres, you're seeing diamonds even, you're seeing number 8, which is infinity, multiplying out. And then it turns into a sphere, which is really the representation of source, a flamed white source flame of God source. Okay, the creator. Understand? Okay. Let me see if we have questions and comments so far. I'm not, let me, and then we'll continue on our presentation. We should probably go another 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll be concluding because I do have to go host another video. Okay, beautiful. Thank you for those of you joining us live, watching live now. All right, so I know I didn't really have enough time to announce it everywhere. Okay, back to the presentation. Now let's talk about the sacred Kabbalah. This is a big one, really big one, because this is the sacred Kabbalah. Now the one that you're seeing around has 10 sephirots. These are sephirots. They're basically portals of dimensions, of chakras even, or energy points that are within you. See, all these connecting lines are meridians. You, just like Mother Earth, have ley lines. Meridians, these meridians connect one another to balance out even. Leonardo da Vinci talked about this, which I'm going to be developing a course of him in the future. But this here is the real, the sacred Kabbalah, which was drawn out by Yeshua. Okay? He drew this out. So let me explain to you. You're going to hear about the Kabbalah and the way that the Illuminati and dark entities are using it. You might even hear, back to one of the videos that popped up for me, this was this man who claims he's some kind of, I don't know who he claims, whatever, who said that the Kabbalah was part of keeping us in was an AI matrix. This is false. So let's just look at common logic here, common sense here, okay? Okay, so the sacred Kabbalah, why do you think that the Illuminati has taken this symbol and inserted its dark lords inside of it? Why do you think? It's simple, right? Because it's positive, and they know that if they make you believe that their dark lords are existing in the Kabbalah, that you could create it for them because you're the creators. If the sacred Kabbalah did not work or was benevolent, they would not be using it. Do you understand? Because it would have no power and it wouldn't work for them. So the only way it works for them, if it is a sacred alchemy symbol that they've stolen and added their dark lords in it, you understand? If it didn't work and it wasn't sacred, they wouldn't be using it because it wouldn't work. You understand? So it's actually quite simple. So to believe that that sacred Kabbalah is inverted is very, very bad because Yeshua drew it out. It's not good. Now, I'm not here to scare you. I'm not here for any of that kind of stuff. But I'm here to help you step out of this fear inverted information. Do you understand? They use it because they know it's real. And they know that it's part of the human anatomy and how a human works. That is, whether it's a human here in the third dimension or the higher dimensions, the sacred Kabbalah are the ways that you travel into the tree of life. The Kabbalah is the tree of life. And it's also a way that they use your power to cut down trees and to harm trees for you to believe, because the Kabbalah, it lives inside of every tree. And it's the way that all your chakras work and flow in the meridians. The tree of life is one and the same with the Kabbalah. Do you understand? Okay, so again, I will repeat it just because, oh my God, how many videos can I hear about people talking about the Kabbalah being bad? And it's so negative, it's violating for you to believe this. The sacred Kabbalah, if it didn't work, if it wasn't real, they would not be using it because then it wouldn't work for them. The only way for them to create a AI matrix and keep you trapped in it is by making you believe that the Kabbalah is negative. The sacred Kabbalah are Essene's teachings, only shared with the elders back then. Somehow they got a hold of them in this now time space. and are using it negatively. You understand? Questions, comments. Let me know what your thoughts are, you all. So they knew it. They know it's true power, and they know that the construct of our earth and creation exists within a sacred Kabbalah of the human anatomy, and that's the only way they use you to power it up for them. Okay, so release any false information on that the Kabbalah is an AI system. The Kabbalah is not an AI system. You are inserting the AI system into the Kabbalah, and you and the collective by believing that. Very sacred. Yeshua, no. Right now, Yeshua would be in his fire telling you that's a no. You don't do that. You don't harm like that. You don't use, you don't use the energy. You don't feed into that dark energy. You don't do that. Okay? So, I believe that is the end of my presentation. So really some really important things that I wanted to talk about. And let's go into some of the things that I saw in Glastonbury especially. What happened while I was there is that, oh, wow, it was beautiful. I'm going to do a whole video on all the beauty and everything, but what I'm going to share with you is that these dark lords hiding inside human bodies, pretending that they're spiritual, were definitely very much a dark seed in Glastonbury. Now a lot has been healed, and the red flame, the red waters, the red flame of the Mary Magdalene and the red rose and Yeshua has been activated there. And as we saw it activate while we were there. But what happened is that we were journeying into many locations, and even one of the places that we went to in the United Kingdom, there was this beautiful tree. And this beautiful tree, let me try to find you an image here. So this tree had these roots, and truly is a sacred alchemy. And these at this tree and the roots, there was a supposed spiritual group, and they were, in this perspective, they were Spanish. They spoke Spanish, and I understand Spanish. So they were enchanting supposedly like positive things, but instead you could see all like these dark curses coming out of their mouth onto the tree, which is violating. So they were pretending that they were like grid workers, but they were not, and they were violating the tree to violate the tree of life initially, again to feed some of this confusion of the sacred alchemy. Now I'm trying to find the tree. I got lots of pictures here to look through, but so what was happening is that from there we find this group that is infringing on the tree to violate these sacred big stones that were there, and so then they could violate and infringe and densify the collective. We have channeled A.U.R.A, some of his first videos where he's talking about how groups are targeted to go to these locations to infringe on the land, and then the sacred keys and universal laws to keep the collective dense and heavy. Okay, so that was happening. Then we move on from the tree, and there is right around the corner, there is a lady, has another lady spread out like this, like kind of like Yeshua on a cross, and she's laying on one of these giant stones. And as she's laying on one of these stones, the lady has her hands down here on her sacral, while there's like 20 females, middle age, like 50, 60, edging it on, and they're waiting for their turn for this lady to inappropriately touch their sacral chakra to supposedly activate it. Another way that they're violating the stones and the trees of these lands, and it gets darker, you all. That's just the beginning of it, okay? Because we are there to remove the dark seeds that have been, the minute you wake up again, those traps that they put you back in. The next thing, you all, you have to believe it, but some of you guys are from the UK and know what I'm talking about. So there's this sacred cave that is right under Tor, which is T-O-R, and it's a beautiful it's a huge hill, mountain, that is, I'll show you images here. I'm not going to show you images of the cave and so on. So this one here, if you watch my Tartaria information here. Okay, so here under this, show you images, there is a cave, and it's a Mary Magdalene and Yeshua cave. Now what happens though is that I have some practitioners with me who are from the United Kingdom, and they explain that some dark stuff happens there, right? They're like, yeah, some orgies happen there. And they said, yeah, it's most like they often have it closed. We're not going to be most likely go into it. When we try to go into it in the past, the person with the key locked the key so that we wouldn't get into it. But of course, once we are there with the angels, the benevolence help us push through and help remove these attachments. Oh, here's the sacred tree that there was people supposedly healing the tree, infringing on the tree. Look at how sacred this tree is. And there were several trees like this that were here. Their roots like this. Sacred geometry. So beautiful they were. All right. And then I'll show you, I didn't take pictures. Not of that cave because it was disgusting what was happening. All right. So this is what we walk into. And this is what this video is about these illusionists that are all controlled by Merlin, the it who began the virus. Okay. So it is quite a beautiful journey to climb up. Here, show you a quick video of the climb up of Tor. Okay. That's the climb up there. Now, inside under is where this cave is at. Okay. So what happens is that, boy, do we walk into something very dark. If you could think of every kind of satanic cultist horror movie, that's what we walk into. And it's on a date that they claim it's like part of their kind of worshiping deities, and that it's you know, one of their harvests, or you know, they're using Celtic information, claiming that that's what they're doing. Is some kind of, I'm not even gonna name it, some kind of harvest or something. They're preparing for harvest. All right, this is what we walk into. It's all dark in there. There's waters that are sacred, that are, when you walk on the stone, just imagine somewhere dark, it's a cave. There's waters that are trickling under. There's altars everywhere. And they're not positive altars. They're altars where they're worshiping some of these deities. And they claim they're spiritual. These people claim that they're spiritual. The minute we're trying to come in, there's a man, and he's like doing like the, oh, la, 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 la. He's like talking like this, like how priests talk, and echoing it out feels so violating. But even before we walk in, there's children, you all, walking around, and it's dark already. There are children with these people, and there's men around the children. There's this specifically is this 5 to 7 year old little girl who had like little fairy wings, and she's running around, and she's talking to like these men that look like, you could say like hippies, but they're spiritual. And one of the men looks like, it's definitely a pedo, and I sense from the little girl that these men have been fondling her from her area, and her mother's just kind of part of this and allowing it. There's children, mothers even breastfeeding children among these men and hippie high looking mushroom people, spirituality. Then we walk in, there is an altar. It's icky, you all. It's very icky. There is like different like deities that they have with like I don't know how to explain it, but then there's people that are getting into the waters who that virus is matrix inverted, and it's supposed to be though beautiful. So I'm having visions, and I say this is Yeshua and Mary Magdalene's cave. We're literally on sacred lands, and all these people are violating the cave and the lands and the waters. And I said, one of them is a red flame, one of them is a white flame. Where the main circled one under Tor is a red flame, water, and there's people going into it. And then on the other side of the corner, they have like this nail with a cloth that is about pretty long, like 50, either 10 to 15 feet long, and it looks like it's a white robe representing Yeshua that's hanging from a hook. Then you go to one side, and then there is a deity that they're worshiping, like this male kind of deity, and they have watch out, if there's children around, you don't want to have children listening to, they have penises that they're worshiping to use the men's sacral chakra invertedly, you all. Then you go around, and then we decide that we're going to bring the child Lemurian light language that the child gave to us, and we start singing this sacred Lemurian language, like Veluvia, I love you. It's not so there's dark language, like demon language, and all these people are saying it, and then we're speaking the star child language. So we start speaking this language, like Ferevia, which means fire. We give you the translations, we tell you exactly what it means. So, well, the child, so Nava means the sun, Lemurian language, so on, right? So we start saying this, all of them, literally what starts happening, you all, it's a mantra battle. So we're purging and transmuting the AI virus and people violating. Then there's Kabbalah, man, pretending to be a spiritual people with these people. He's fully dressed at this point. Y'all, he doesn't stay fully dressed. There's little kids running around. Eventually, towards the end, there is before that happens, there is a big spider, and it looks like those black widow spiders, huge, and she's hanging over. They have the one thing that was positive in there, they have Mother Mary, the Virgin Mary, Mother Mary's statue there, and they claim that that they're protecting her, and they're like debating, these people are debating if they should remove the spider hanging in front of her statue, or they should not. And the mother, who has a baby who has her breasts out next to this Kabbalah guy, who is now in his towel, butt naked, but a towel, and then the man is talking to the little baby like, hi baby, you're so cute, you're so cute. Okay, so this mom, who has her children around while they're being violated, says that they should leave the spider because actually the spider's protecting the Virgin Mary. And I'm vocal. I'm like, no, I don't agree with you all. No, it's not. This spider is not protecting Mother Mary in any form. And they're like, we're the light in this infinite inverted darkness that is violating energetically, physically, psychically, sexually, you name it. And this is what this video is about, you all. Not to be pulled into this, because okay, so this was what happens. So then the spider thing happens. There's no way to get through these people because they think that they are in their rite of passageway in spirituality. And from there, this man whoops out his towel naked in front of little girl running around and these babies, and goes into the waters in the corner where Yeshua's behind Mother Mary, Yeshua's robe is hanging, goes into the waters, and he starts ejaculating. I'm not kidding. No one can see what he's doing because it's in the dark corner. But he's making noises like, oh, like that. Really loud in the cave, and it's absolutely disgusting. At that point, we go into another corner, and in this corner, this lady doesn't seem too bad, actually. She just seems to be under a spell. The dark spell that all these like supposed gurus are in there, they pretend they're gurus, have her under. And she's like, oh my God, that was so beautiful what you were saying. And I was telling her that it was Lemurian language, and that we know the translations to every word that we speak. It's not something that you don't know what it is. And then And then I said, so is this normal? I was like, just like naked men, running, getting naked in front of children, with their penis and balls hanging out, their butt cheeks. And she says, well, you have to look at it like this is really sacred. The other day I was here. Oh, and it was a mother and their baby, and they were going into the water naked, and it was so beautiful. And I'm thinking, God, I hope that child survived that and did not get any kind of illness or disease or attachments through those waters that were not healed. Yeah. Okay. So I'm like, all right, well, we did what we needed to do here. One, Yeshua and Mary Magdalene do not consent to you. If you are violating this cave under this in Glastonbury in this area, they don't consent to you. But we walk out of there. They're all still kind of like pretty much high, the outside and the inside. We're standing out like, the only light in this area. And I'm sure they were so thankful that we weren't, that, we got out of there. But we don't consent to this fake spirituality. The collective does not consent, especially putting children in danger. And if these people, and it's a known thing that they have orgies there. You can ask anyone who lives in this area. They have literal orgies in these waters that are Yeshua and Mary Magdalene's waters. Okay. I mean, even when we went to Stonehenge, the tour guy talks about how people get naked in the area. It's a known thing. It's not something that we're making up, you all. So by the time we walk out of there, though, I see Yeshua and Mary Magdalene standing there, and the waters have turned into this beautiful red, as my outfit, flamed red rose flame, and Yeshua's white flame in both of these areas, and they have returned. And whoever walks in there who is violating these energies will literally not be able to be there anymore, is what Yeshua and Magdalene have returned. That's what they said. And if we didn't believe it, in one of the so that was right in Glastonbury in UK. Then we end up in Ireland. Can you believe across the island, when we are at one of the locations, it was a stone location. There's a man who's sitting in a van, and he's like eyeing us to get into his van, and we're like, no thank you. Again, hippie-ish, totally looks high on weed, mushrooms. And one of the attendees says, this guy usually is at Glastonbury. Why is he all the way over here in this other island? And then that's when Divine Mother says it's because he's not able to be in the sacred Magdalene cave anymore. Mary Magdalene lineage is waking up, you all. The Cathars, we are going to begin the series on that. They are waking up, and that red flame of the Magdalenes is coming back. And the more that these things are going to unveil and come to the surface. Thank you for listening to this. I love you with all that I am. As always, I will only be here in love, source of light. I don't consent to any of these infringements that others you might hear that are truth, because I only channel Divine Mother and Father. And again, I'm not here for any of pedestals or any of that. I'm just here to tell you the truth, both either from my channel of my heart frequency and all the clients that come to me. Thank you to all the over 4,000 clients that have brought this information over to us. When you are within my space, you are held in love, and that is all. So if you're ready to heal yourself, so I don't see any questions here. If you're ready to heal yourself from any of these inversions, it is time. Come find your way over. Come find your way, where we teach you how to heal yourself. You do it yourself. No, you pay no one else, especially no one who claims that they channel some dark alien to heal you. You do it yourself. Come release yourself from these inverted traps. And one of my first sentences, I said, if this is what spirituality looks like, when people wake up and they release themselves from, say, being asleep, and these are the traps that are waiting for them, like this orgy cave of supposed spirituality, if this is what it looks like, then it's probably best that they stay asleep a little longer, because they are going to entrap them. They are going to entrap them. And even though I believe that everything is divine, right? Everything happens for a reason, I do not align with pedo stuff like that. So it's almost safer for them to stay asleep than to wake up and then be entrapped by a false guru that's supposedly changing their DNA, supposedly, healing them. The stories are endless, you all. In these books, look at how many pages, over 1,000 pages of the data that we have retrieved. And every single higher self says the same thing over and over. None of these people all over the world have met each other, or some of them, like if it's a mother daughter or family that's doing sessions, but they have not met each other, and the higher selves are saying the same exact thing. So let's go heal the lands. Let's not violate the lands because you are raping her. And let's not be the energy that powers up these inversions of the Vesica Picsis, the Kabbalah, that the angels are fallen, and so on. You all understand what I'm saying? I know you do, because you are here. Thank you for being strong enough to hear this message all the way through the end. I love you, honor you, and respect you. Ignite that fire. Stand in your sovereignty. Find the love light within you. Love yourself and live life in beauty and joy and happiness. Because that was one of the things. So look at this, you all. This is what happened. So we are done with tour, right? And we're about to actually go into the cave, this dark cave. And this is what happens, you all. It is incredible. You can't make this stuff up. On the fence, walking down, Yeshua star is there, which is the Merkaba star. Look. And it's right next to love. 12-pointed star, the Council of 12, the 12 archangels. There's Yeshua star, because he was the 13th key. He was standing at the center while the 12 archangels assisted him. Okay. And we're finishing up here because I gotta go. Look at this, y'all. Next to joy, Yeshua's heart and hugs. You can't make this stuff up. So even though you heard some really dark stuff today, I want you to understand that Yeshua is inside of you. Yeshua, your love light, your heart, divine mother, source exists within your heart and your flame. And the way to come out of this is to be within joy and love. Sing and dance. I love you. One of my toughest videos, but I know you guys can handle it because you're here. I love you, honor you, and respect you. See y'all next time. Thank you, loves.